Yes people, back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing an end of year review for 2024, how I started off the year and how we are doing now. We have done well over £2 million in dropshipping over the course of 2024. I'm going to be breaking down how we done that, how I started off the year, the position I was in, and then how I've grown to then hit, I think on December we done like £400,000 plus per month. And in January I'm expecting to do upwards of $1 million on one store. So I'm going to be taking you through how I started pretty much from nothing back at the start of 2024 until the point we are at today. Challenges that we've faced, things that have went well, things that haven't went so well. So back in January 2024, I just came off the back of doing not too bad in November and December. I just started dropshipping in November, so the first couple of months were pretty shaky. I was doing all of the content myself, recording all the UGC, doing all the fulfillment. I didn't even have a private agent at that point, so it was very, very messy. I was still getting used to how to do everything. I was unsure on how to run ads properly, how to create a good offer, how to work out margins on your product, how to have a good gross margin so it's profitable. And then once I hit like a certain number of sales, I then hit VAT, needed to start charging VAT. So back then compared to now, we have grown so much. My offer back then was very, very poor. I was selling it too cheaply. I had no ads. I was relying on like one or two ads to do all of the heavy lifting. I wasn't testing any new creatives. Moving on from that done pretty well. In January we done £120,000. But looking back, like the profit was barely anything on that because I was just pushing the ad budget. The ads seemed to be performing well, but on the back end, the gross margin wasn't actually good enough after like all taxes. So looking back on that, could have obviously done a lot better back then. Could have scaled more efficiently, could have worked out my margins better, but I think in around the end of January, going into February, I then got in contact with a private agent, and they're still the ones that we use up until this day, who have been absolutely excellent. We then launched a second dropshipping store in April, which was in a completely different niche. I then partnered up with my business partner, which has been a complete game changer as well. Managed to progress our growth twice as fast. We've got two people who could do similar things. We're on a similar sort of wavelength when it comes to dropshipping. We think similarly, and we have similar goals for the future. We both are good at editing. He's probably better than me at graphic design, but I do more of the UGC content for the dropshipping stores and dealing with that and all that sort of thing. So yeah, in April I think we launched that store, and we still run these two stores up until this day. April, rocky start. In May we then got in some not trouble, but we had people trying to DMCA us, trying to take us to court, all this sort of shit, which was at the time very, very scary. We didn't know what was going on. We thought we were going to get shut down, but when we look back now, it was absolutely nothing. Nothing was ever going to come of it, and the store's still up and running, and that competitor's actually not running anymore. So good news for us. We've now expanded that store into multiple markets. We're obviously in the UK primarily, but we also sell into the USA, which is a much better market, purely because you don't have to deal with VAT. In the UK with dropshipping, most people probably actually don't know this because they're doing black hat sort of stuff. After £90,000 in revenue as a limited company, you should register for VAT. So basically overnight you lose 16.66% of your profit margin. And if you're trying to do dropshipping from China, you can't claim any VAT back. That just comes straight off your profit margin, and you have to kind of just deal with that. We've managed to do pretty good after having the VAT, but in America, you've got 50 different states who all have different sales tax thresholds, so it's way easier to sell into America on that front. We are actually not registered in America for any sales tax yet. I think we've got one coming up that we're close to hitting a threshold, but the US market, 5 or 6 times the amount of people of the UK, you don't have to deal with VAT, and they've got more spending power. So for us, it's kind of a no-brainer to move our focus over to the US and have the UK on a cost cap or a bid cap, and kind of let that tick over and try and make it profitable, because it is very, very hard to have it profitable when you have VAT. So that's something to note if you are wanting to do a serious dropshipping brand. Think of Do you want to sell into the UK where it is much more difficult, or do you want to go into a big market like the US? If possible, I would recommend the US always. It could be more competitive, but that's just the game that you're in. So all the way through summer, pretty much we had one store running. Our stores are quite seasonal, so one does very, very well in winter, one does very, very well in the summer. So throughout the summer, we were running that new store, getting better branding on the product. We had a custom branded product. We then started getting more video assets, so we'd reach out to way more creators than usual. We figured out about 11 labs and how to clone AI voices, which took our business to the next level. We were able to make much, much better creatives. And from there we hired our first VA. Big help for us. We were doing customer service emails for far too long. I used to come in here every single morning and have to do like 50 to 100 emails, and at that stage we're doing like 5 to 10k a day. It's just, looking back, it was kind of stupid, but yeah, we hired our first VA. They get like $5 or $6 an hour. They're happy, we're happy. Everything on that end is dealt with. Moving on to the end of the summer, things started to die down on that store, but as we headed into winter, the other stores started to pick up, and we've hit record months on that store. Record months for me and dropshipping. I'll put up a few screenshots on here as well. I think we done 400k in December. Again, looking back, we could have done way more. We run all of our ads on cost caps, well, primarily on cost caps. When in reality, when it was in Q4 Black Friday heading into December, we probably should have just ran lowest cost. If we ran lowest cost, we would have sacrificed a small amount of margin, but we would have been able to scale way harder. And instead of hitting 30k days, we could have hit 60, 70, or even 100k days. So that just kind of shows you the progression from the start of the year. I done 120k in January, kind of unprofitable, messy, don't know what's going on, don't know my profit, don't know what I actually take home after tax. And then you go all the way up until the start of November. We've got a VA, we've hired a video editor to run both the stores and create assets for both stores, so we constantly churn out content. And that gives us the focus to put our attention on the new brand that we're launching, how to get new stock for that, how we're going to be paying for that, dealing with financials, and just focusing on the higher leverage tasks. I've came a long way in 2024, and it just shows you how far you can come in a short period of time. Start of the year, look about, I was complete dog shit. Up until now, we're getting better and better. If you don't hit 10, 15k days now, it's kind of like a shit day. What's going on? So in terms of that, it's been a pretty successful year. I feel like I could have worked way harder, but that's a good thing to have on my mind, I guess. Could have pushed more ads out, could have done more emails, could have been more on the ball with inventory. We were out of stock on a few stores throughout December, and it was kind of like it was a stressful time. Bank accounts going down, we should have had multiple bank accounts, should have had multiple credit cards. But now that we've went through these issues, like the DMCA as well, we now know for the next time, have multiple bank accounts, have multiple credit cards. When a Shopify DMCA comes through, you need to evaluate it. If they're going to take you to court, look through the document, see where they're wanting to take you to court. We actually got threatened to take into court in London, but our company is actually a Scottish company, so that would never happen. But these are just the small things that you learn as you go through your journey. And I just want you to all know, completely possible. From the start of the year, the basic difference from the start of the year with me doing 120k a month, which is still good, still made like 10, 15k profit. The difference from there and like a 500k a month is literally more ads and more budget. That is pretty much it. I actually don't think the website matters too much. If you have a good product and it fits in that type of market at that time of year, especially if it's like a seasonal, like winter product that's giftable, your product could just absolutely fly. You could go from spending like £500 a day to spending 10k in a day within the space of a week. And that's how quickly it can grow, and that's how quickly you can scale. For the plan moving forward, as I said, one of the stores is very seasonal, does well in summer, but as we approach January, new year, new me, it fits well into that niche as well. So I think if all goes well, we're waiting to hear back from our agent on Monday in terms of stock. If we could have stock, because like Chinese New Year and stuff is going to be going on. We don't know if the factories are going to be working. we're scaling pretty hard, so hopefully we can. I think we could do upwards of $1 million in January, which is, it seems crazy, but to me it's actually not that mad. It's just more rev from more ad spend. But yeah, we've got a creative editor, pretty much like creating like 10 to 15 ads a week that will get put into the ad account. And we have also got finally approved on our brand sample. We got that through the door last week. We've used it, seen what it's like, given it to friends and family, and everything seems pretty much all good. Once that gets sent back, once our manufacturer comes back from their holiday after Christmas, we're going to be ordering 5,000 units of that, which is a kind of big risk, but we've seen the market, we've seen what the competitors doing in terms of numbers. We're pretty confident that we could take this to next year. I think we could do 2 to 3 million, maybe that's overestimating it a little bit. I'm hoping to hit 1 million next year at some point on this brand, which will be very exciting because it's a completely custom product that we've created from ourselves, our own brand, and pretty much everything from scratch. And yeah, I'm going to hopefully be documenting it on this channel. I don't really want to give away the product, but I will be constantly giving you updates from myself. Again, if you've got any questions regarding e-com, dropshipping, please leave them below. I've also got a free school community. I'll leave the link for that below. And I hope you enjoyed this ramble. I'm trying to get better at putting across my points. It was kind of all over the place, but if you did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, ask any questions, and I appreciate you watching. See you in the next one.